On the eve of the election, both Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump spending their final hours campaigning in battleground states, with both aiming their message squarely at voters in Pennsylvania.
Here in Arizona, U.S. Senate candidates Kari Lake and Ruben Gallego are also making a final push for last-minute voters. Polls in Arizona reopen in just 13 hours for Election Day voting. Maricopa County opened 97 voting sites today, and there are now 153 voting sites operating. 300 voters checked in during the first 2 minutes, 800 voters in the first 5 minutes, and many locations had waits, but all under 15 minutes.
So, hours until Election Day, as Maricopa County officials are confident they are ready for whatever happens tomorrow.
Fox 10's Lauren Clark joins us live outside the county administrative building tonight with more about what they shared with voters today. Lauren.
Hey there, John and Christina. To give you an idea of just how much spotlight is right here on the Grand Canyon State, we saw about 650 credentialed media for this press conference today. And we're not just talking about national folks, but also international folks, speaking to reporters in Estonia, Japan, and Australia, just to name a few. And today they gave voters very essential information about what they can expect for tomorrow. In a jam-packed room, Maricopa County Supervisor Bill Gates acknowledged the gravity of tomorrow.
We understand that over the last 4 years that really the eyes of the world have been on Maricopa County.
And officials say they're ready and prepared. County Recorder Stephen Richer says so far his office has received about 1.5 million ballots. They're expecting another 600,000 voters between today and tomorrow, with an estimated turnout of about 2.1 million.
We will move through that as thoroughly and as accurately while still doing it as fast as possible.
This year, there's a 2-page ballot consisting of 265 contests. That will take a while to process. So will complying with the new state law
that requires us to do a hand count of all of those green envelopes that are dropped off on Election Day. So as was mentioned earlier, we won't be able to, the memory cards will not be able to come in to our tabulation center until we've completed that.
While warning that lines tomorrow could be high during peak times, Assistant County Manager Jack Shira emphasized they have more resources than ever before.
We have invested in more vote centers, more check-in stations, and more voting booths than ever before. We have new printers and new high-speed tabulators, and we are ready to serve any voter who wants to cast a ballot on Election Day.
They also have more poll voters and workers who will be working around the clock to get results. However, Richer stresses they will prioritize safety and security over speed.
We'll not cut corners on signature verification. There will be no skipping of an audit queue. We will not cut corners on documenting ballot chain of custody when we do ballot processing.
As for security, Maricopa County Sheriff Russ Skinner said threats or intimidation of any kind would not be tolerated.
Do not cross the line. There's a difference between First Amendment freedom of speech and committing a crime. And in Maricopa County, it will be zero tolerance on anything related to criminal activity.
And if you still have questions about tomorrow, we do have a link to that full press conference on our website, fox10phoenix.com. Reporting live here in Phoenix, Lauren Clark, Fox 10 News.
Lauren, thanks. All eyes on the U.S. Senate race here in Arizona that has tightened a bit in recent polling. Steve Nielsen covering Ruben Gallego on Election Eve for us.
He's live in Phoenix tonight, where the Democratic Senate hopeful made some stops today. Steve.
Yeah, a flurry of stops all over the valley today. In fact, we caught up with him late this afternoon as he was speaking to union workers here at this training facility here in Phoenix. But the day started much earlier than that. Later on, he was speaking at Arizona State University with some students there. He wasn't alone for that stop, though. He was also joined by Arizona Senator Mark Kelly, his wife, former Congresswoman Gabby Giffords, former U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Susan Rice, and also One Tree Hill actress Sophia Bush. They drew a crowd. They are promoting the top of the ticket, Harris and Walz, focusing on reproductive rights with students. Students there waited in lines after to talk with the speakers. But then the congressman left there, headed to Phoenix to speak with electrical workers at an IBEW training location. He shook hands. He told them that he grew up in a union family. And with the CHIPS Act coming under fire from former President Donald Trump in recent days, Gallego said as a senator he would push to expand the CHIPS Act, not remove it. He called it a job creator in Arizona. I asked the congressman one-on-one if he is concerned about recent polls showing a tightening race.
Well, look, this campaign was always going to be close, no matter what. There was no way that we were ever going to beat Kari Lake by 10 points in Arizona. So we've been operating like this campaign is always going to be a tight race. So that's why I've been going everywhere, talking to everybody, to our Democratic areas, to our Republican areas, visiting our 20 tribal nations, visiting one that's even down the bottom of the Grand Canyon, talking to independents, talking to Latinos. We're doing everything because we know it's a close race, and we're going to fight all the way to the end.
He left here in Phoenix to go to another spot in Arizona to speak again to more voters. The whole point of the operation at this point is just to get those voters and make sure they actually vote. This is obviously a very important race nationally as both Republicans and Democrats want control of the Senate. Reporting live, Steve Nielsen, Fox 10 News.
Steve, thanks. On the Republican side, Kari Lake holding her own rally on the eve of the election.
She's in Prescott tonight, where she'll be speaking to supporters at the Yavapai County Courthouse. And Fox 10's Ashley Rodriguez is live there with a preview. Ashley.
Hey guys, yeah, this is Kari Lake's last-ditch effort to rally support to send her to the Senate, and she's going to need it because while Harris and Trump are neck and neck in the polls here in Arizona, Lake's numbers have been lagging behind Trump. But just to echo what Steve was saying, this is a tightening race, and recent polls show that she is catching up to Gallego. In some polls, she's even got a narrow lead. Now, if you ask Lake, she will tell you based on her own internal polling, she's doing great against Gallego. But 538 Real Clear Politics polls, they show Gallego maintaining that slight narrow edge. A New York Times Siena poll on Sunday showed Gallego is up by 5 points, leading Lake 50 to 45%. It also found Gallego is winning 95% of Harris voters and 10% of Trump voters. He's been ahead of Lake since April. That could be in part because McCain voters find her MAGA-style politics divisive, as well as the fact that she still has not conceded the 2022 gubernatorial election, which she lost to Katie Hobbs by just 17,000 votes and claimed election fraud. Now, I asked some of the attendees at today's rally why they think she's been polling behind Gallego for months now.
I don't understand. I don't think that people really study the issues and see what's really going on, because I think that she cuts through all the baloney and she tells it like it is.
And I just think there's a shift because all these polls are pretty close, even for Trump and Harris. And I just think that, you know, it's going to be a close race.
Well, I think sometimes people just have to understand that you got to get over things. Okay? Personally, I did not appreciate how she handled the issue with Jeff DeWitt. Okay? Didn't like that. But you got to get over it, and you got to vote for the true conservative. And Gallego is not the answer for Arizona.
And just like Gallego, Lake has been crisscrossing Arizona in the last week. She's been in Tucson. She's also been in Scottsdale. Her rally behind me starts at 7 tonight, and we're expecting to hear from her about her support from former President Trump. We're expecting to hear about her goal to secure the border once she is elected, if she is elected into the Senate, and also, of course, her disdain for the media, but that's okay. And as we've said, this has become a very tight race, and every vote will count. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Okay, Ashley, thank you. Stick with Fox 10 for Election Day all day. We've got live coverage starting at 4:30 on AZAM, 4:30 in the morning, all the way through the results as they start to roll in, and that happens at 8 o'clock. We'll be on the air on Fox 10 and Fox 10 Extra. You can also watch us on our YouTube page as well as on the Fox local app.
Well, after rain across the valley and snow up north over the weekend, more wet weather's on the way.
Fox 10 meteorologist Erica Horvatine is here with a look at the future cast. Got a 1/4 inch at my house.
Oh, nice.
Not bad.
Yeah, it was so great to see that rainier weather yesterday, and the active weather pattern will continue this week. So it's not the only storm that's going to be impacting up north. Here's a look from about 4:45, so about 20 minutes ago, from Arizona Snow Bowl. They're making snow with the very cool temperatures at 9,500 feet, and a lot more adding up there at the ski area. And Sunrise Ski Resort really taking the cake for snowfall amounts with yesterday's storm. You can see that really piled up there at the the base at 9,300 feet. So that was pretty awesome. Snowfall totals came in at 7.7 inches, 4.4 miles northwest of Snowbowl. Only a trace measured at Flagstaff, 3 inches in Heber, and 3 to 6 inches at Forest Lakes. Out further east, Show Low seeing 4 inches of snow. Pinetop Lakeside with 5 to 6.7 inches. Vernon seeing as much as 12 inches of snow. And then it really started to taper off toward the state line, but still 3.3 inches in Eager, 6.5 in Greer, and 5 inches at Hannigan Meadow. As we go through Tuesday to Thursday, the next storm will come in, and I will say this is the best case scenario for snow, and it's still looking a lot lighter than this storm that just moved through yesterday. But we could pick up a trace of snow again up near Flagstaff, and a nice light dusting of snow all along Rim Country, and then all the way out to Eager again with potentially up to 5 inches. So we'll be tracking that storm throughout the next couple of days.